Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar on NIT's Master's Programs in Technology and Management, an MBA or Master's Program. Today we have with us Stefan Scheuner, who is the Recruiting and Admissions Manager from NIT, and NIT stands for Northern Institute of Technology Management in Germany. My name is Hanni Geist. I'm the Senior Manager of University Relations in the DAAD San Francisco office, and I will be mainly in the background today. I will be your host. If you have any questions, you can ask them. Otherwise, we can take them to the Q&A at the end of this webinar. So for today's agenda, I just briefly wanted to talk to you about DAAD, what DAAD is, and then more specifically, I wanted to talk to you about one scholarship that's available to you if you're interested in pursuing a graduate degree on the master's level in Germany at the NIT. And then at the very end, we will have some time to answer some of your questions. But of course, if you have questions later on, you can contact us, of course, later on as well. And I do record this webinar, so you can listen to it later as well. I will also upload the slides in our webinar archive, and I will send a follow-up email to everyone. And so do feel free to get in touch with us at a later point should you have questions about either DAAD or NIT at a later point. And so very briefly, what is DAAD? DAAD is the German National Agency for International Academic Cooperation and Exchange. Simply put, we do represent higher education and research abroad. We provide general information about German universities and the German research landscape. We're an independent association of German universities. And in addition to providing general information and representing higher education abroad, we do provide specifically scholarships and grants, and these are available to academics at all stages, in all disciplines. And also important to note is that German language skills are definitely not a requirement to be eligible for the grants that we offer. It is, of course, an advantage to know some German, but if the degree program or if the research project is conducted in English, then you will not know, then you won't know. German language skills are not required. Here we go. And then also an additional information for individuals listening from the US or Canada who are international students or researchers. The US or Canadian citizenship is not a requirement for our grants. What is required is that you're either a full-time student, that you've received a degree from the US or Canada, or that you are currently enrolled or teaching or researching at an institution in the US or Canada. So those are the two important facts about DAAD grants. And now specifically, our DAAD study scholarship for all graduates. This is a scholarship to cover your living expenses of up to 2 years if you would like to pursue a master's degree in Germany. And as I said, German language skills are not required. They are, of course, an advantage if you want to live in Germany, specifically if you would like to then later on maybe also find a job in Germany after your degree. Final year undergraduates are eligible to apply. So if you're currently a senior, you may apply. You don't have to apply necessarily as a senior. Individuals who graduated are eligible to apply up to 6 years after graduation. So there is some time if you, for example, would like to take a gap year. You see here, you get 850 euros per month, health insurance, also a travel stipend. And for individuals maybe in the US or Canada where it's quite expensive, just to give you a kind of a sense of how much 850 euros in Germany is. In most cases, in most cities, you will need about 300 or 400 euros for an apartment or a shared room. And then the other costs, for example, for groceries are also quite affordable. So students usually need between 800 and 1,000 euros in Germany to live comfortably. And as you see here, again, health insurance is included, so you don't have to take that into your budget and consider that. So it is really quite a bit of money for you to spend, and you don't have to tap into your savings or need any other kind of loans if you want to be a student in Germany to pursue a master's. The deadline this year, I have to update that on the slide, is actually November 5th. However, having the earlier deadline on the slide is actually not a bad thing, because you should really set your personal deadline to a few days prior, also because November 5th is the deadline, but that's the German time, so keep in mind, especially if you're applying from the western part of the United States or Canada, the portal for the application closes usually at around 2 or 3 p.m. on the day of, because the deadline is the German time. So keep that in mind. You find more information on our website, DAAD.org, and you will also find an FAQ page on our DAAD.org page as well, should you have any additional questions. And then if you want to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, feel free to connect with us there. We'll post updates on scholarships and also on other events that we host, and subscribe to our newsletter to really stay up to date to any upcoming deadlines. And with that, I would like to share the slides now through NIT.
Thank you, Ms. Geis, and welcome to our webinar. Welcome from Hamburg. I'm very happy to present today our webinar about NIT's MBA program in technology management. My name is Stefan Scheuner, and I'm the recruiting and admissions manager here at the NIT, at the Northern Institute of Technology Management. Now, I want to start this presentation with sharing a couple of thoughts why we think that it's a good idea for you to study a technology management degree with us. We think that the main challenges of the future are at the core technology-related challenges. If you think about sustainable energy and water supply, global logistics, CO2 emissions, digitalization, all of these challenges are at the core technology challenges. And we want you to be able and to develop the skills to tackle these challenges. And that applies especially if you're not coming from a management background, not from a background which has a lot of general management skills already in your portfolio. We also want you to develop an entrepreneurial mindset. We want you to be able to generate and test ideas, develop them further, and eventually turn them into reality, or maybe your own startup. Even if you don't turn them into your own startup, those skills won't hurt your employability, because even corporations are actively searching for people with such an entrepreneurial mindset and skill set. We do all this by putting a project-based learning environment at the center of our learning experience. So we want to help you to develop the skills that you will need in a constantly changing world. For us, those skills are adaptability, agility, and obviously an open mind. In order to do so, you can study in 2 different study options here at the NIT. Now, if you are an engineer and if you want to continue your engineering education while you are in Germany, you can combine our technology management program with one of 6 engineering master programs taught in English here at the Hamburg University of Technology. That's the so-called double degree option between the NIT, Northern Institute of Technology Management, and TUHH, Hamburg University of Technology. If you're not from an engineering background, or if you're not really interested in pursuing 2 degrees at the same time, but would much rather focus on technology management and maybe a working student time here in Germany, then you can do the single degree option, meaning you can study our 120 credit point master degree in technology management and use the rest of your week for whatever you have in mind. Both of these options are obviously accredited by FIBA, which is an international accreditation body, and both of these options are taught here at the NIT. The NIT is situated on the campus of TUHH, which is the Hamburg University of Technology. TUHH is a very lively and green and very international campus university. It's also a state university with the in the cluster of the Technische Universitäten, technical universities, TU, which means the education in terms of the engineering degrees, for example, is of the highest standard you will find in the German education sector. All of the degrees that we operate here at the NIT are also conferred by TUHH. So you will receive a degree from the Hamburg University of Technology. And to give you an idea what the TUHH looks like, it's compared to other universities in Germany, a rather small university. So it's a very exclusive environment here with approximately 8,000 students. 20% of them are international students. We have a very high ratio of professors and academic staff to students, with almost 100 professors and almost 700 academic staff. So that's researchers and so on. We are, the TUHH is organized in 80 institutes and is celebrating its 40th birthday this year. So it's a very young university, and as I said, very lively and engaged in international campus university. You can see a couple of images here from our campus and from all the campus activities like the Sommerfest, and it's a lot of fun being part of this community. It's also very active. We've got a lot of student associations on campus, like our Formula Student team or our robotics team. So you'll find student associations for whatever interest you have in mind. TUHH and NIT are situated in Harburg, a southern district of the city of Hamburg. And in case you've never been to Hamburg, a couple of images here for you. Hamburg is a very international place known for its quality of living. What characterizes the city best is probably the water. So you have lots of water with the river Elbe and also the river Alster going through it. It's home to 1.7 million people, which makes it Germany's second biggest city, 5 million approximately in the metro area, and known for a very diverse cultural scene, interesting music scene, but also, and that's probably very interesting to you, a very strong industrial core with international companies like Airbus, NXP, Bayersdorf, but also a vibrant startup scene. Just a very interesting place to be as a student or graduate, and a very high quality of living on top. Our institute, the NIT, was founded 20 years ago by professors of TUHH. It's a small not-for-profit institute, which was originally founded to provide management education for the engineers here on campus. Today, we're very proud of our very international alumni network, our top position in CAG rankings when it comes to the quality of the studies here. And we as a team here are also very proud of our open door policy and the approachable nature of our team here. A couple of points for you that characterize our learning environment for our students here. What's first of all very important for you to know, our programs are taught entirely in English. So if you're not speaking German yet, that's not a big problem. We welcome students from all over the world, but not only the students come from all over the world, also our faculty. As we are an independent institute, we can handpick our faculty, and we have a so-called flying faculty, which comes in for all the modules, the seminars, the workshops, from places like the US, Canada, Australia, UK, Germany. Obviously, we'll see a little bit more about that later. And is then here and focuses especially on the groups that study here at the NIT. All of our seminars and workshops are held in very small classes, and most of our students actually also live on campus in our building. So that's a very special characteristic of our program as well. We are making sure that all of our curriculum activities, but also the extracurricular activities, provide a very tight link to the industry so that students that come here have the chance to get to know companies, possible future employers, and work with them, for example, during their practical experience as well. I've already mentioned the project and problem-based learning approach, and here you see a couple of examples from the classroom. We do a lot of design thinking and agile project management workshops, which is very hands-on and very interaction-oriented. Another highlight, I think, is the simulation-oriented R&D seminar, for example, which we do with Lego Mindstorm. And we do excursions. This is our excursion to Arcelor in the R&D seminar, where we make sure that it's not only classroom, but also really hands-on knowledge from the industry that our students receive. I've mentioned the internationality of our student body and of our community here. Couple of impressions for you, couple of ideas where our students come from. Usually about a third, maybe a little bit less, come from Germany, and the other 2/3 from Asia, from the Americas, Latin America, always a big contingent. Also from US and Canada, we had North American students in the last couple of classes with coming from schools such as Penn State, Stanford, UCLA, a couple of others. So always also an American presence in our classes, which is, from our point of view, very good, because the more diverse our groups are, the more our students learn from the experience here. I've mentioned that a lot of our students live not only on campus, but actually right in our building. Our institute, our building is in the middle of the TUHH campus and is home to 65 students living in their apartments. You see a couple of impressions here from the furnished apartments that we provide, with private bathroom, which I find extremely important. We've got a little kitchenette with a fridge here in every apartment, but also communal kitchens, 2 on each floor, so that you can interact a lot and meet a lot with your classmates. There are other common rooms like a music room, a gym in the building. All of that is very accessible for you, and obviously you don't waste a lot of time commuting to the classroom because it's just down the stairs. All of that is accessible for our NIT students. The NIT students also enjoy a priority rate in our accommodation here, so it's a little bit cheaper than if you were not studying at the NIT, and makes for a fantastic community within the building. In the classroom, we welcome renowned teachers and professors from around the world. We are always looking for a good blend of academic staff, but also practitioners. So obviously we do have also professors from Hamburg University of Technology, TUHH, teaching our program, but also professors from business schools or universities like IE Business School, Cranfield University, Queens in Canada, Portland State in the US. All of that mixed together with practitioners, for example, from consulting companies to make sure that those hands-on oriented elements are also taught to you by somebody who actually knows what he or she is doing. So a good mix. And since we are making sure that every year we evaluate the seminars and the workshops, we also constantly working on making sure that the quality of the seminars is actually guaranteed. Now you're probably asking yourself, what exactly is it that I'll be learning about and that I'll be working on while I study my technology management MBA? And for that, I can offer you a glance on our curriculum here. Obviously, more about our institute, about our curriculum, about the faculty can be found on our website, www.nithh.de. And just for you as an orientation, we are trying to focus all of the modules and seminars that are part of the curriculum around an actual project. So the project shall be at the center of your degree. This project could be a startup idea that you have in mind, an innovation project that maybe an institute from TUHH has in mind, or something like a business development project that one of our partner companies proposes. And this project will follow you through the whole curriculum. And the workshop and seminars that you will be doing will all be designed in a way that you can apply the skills that you learn and there to your project. These seminars and modules are clustered basically in general management, with obviously basics like accounting or strategy for all of you that have not maybe had the chance to have classes in general management yet. Then there's a very important innovation and entrepreneurship cluster where you will learn about business model development, innovation methods, and everything you need to know to turn your project from an idea into something tangible. We also place a very high value on the people skills of our students. So on top of our general management education, we also want you to be able to lead groups, learn about your own skills and develop them further, and also learn how to communicate in another language, which is not English. For most of our students, that would be German. So you will have, on top of all these general management seminars, also seminars in project management, communication and conflict management, German language classes, all of that. And these practical elements that you see here are extremely important to actually transfer all the skills from those modules into reality and make sure that your project comes to life. There's a practical experience, 12-week full-time experience included, which could be in the form of an internship, but could also be in the form of developing your startup further. And obviously a master thesis where at the end, all of the skills you've developed culminate into a master thesis, for example, about a business idea or about a startup that you want to build. On top of that, there's a couple of complementary elements like design thinking, coding, or technology and ethics, which you can include in your curriculum. This gives you a flexibility to do either a 90 credit points or 120 credit point degree. Now, I've mentioned the tight links to the industry that we have, and a very special relationship that we have is the one to our industrial sponsor companies. One of them is Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble sponsors since for at least the last 8 years a student from the technology management degree, and they also have a very good track record in making sure that those students then end up in their company. And Carsten Luckert, one of our contact persons there, is highlighting the cultural awareness that we are providing with our learning environment here, but also the teamwork, which is part of all the seminars that we offer. So in terms of career development and employability, what we are doing is appreciated a lot by our partner companies, and therefore offers you a lot of options when it comes to finding a job, maybe after your time, maybe here in Germany or somewhere else. For you to get an idea of what our students are doing once they've graduated, we have an alumni community of roughly 500 people. There's been 20 classes. I've mentioned the class size being very small and exclusive, so you'll be part of that community once you graduate. And this gives you a good idea, I think, what people are doing. Vivek, for example, is the classical example of somebody with an engineering background in IT who used this technology management degree here to work at the intersection of technology and, in his case, marketing. He's a product marketing engineer, and he translates market requirements into products. And in order to do so, he uses both his engineering and his technology management education. He's working with NXP here in Hamburg. NXP is a semiconductor, or one of the biggest semiconductor manufacturers and producers in Europe, and also one of our sponsor companies. And he spent a lot of time already during his studies there, and now works for them after going through a graduate trainee program as a product marketing engineer. Another very interesting area for our graduates is consulting. Obviously, with a skill set both in technology but also in management, a lot of our students end up in consulting areas. Anna Christina, for example, in-house consulting as a strategy consultant for the German energy giant E.ON. So she's doing that from within the company. Srivatsa from India is doing something very similar, but with McKinsey. So he's an associate there, doing strategy consultant, but obviously with different clients and not only with one company. And one more example, I have to mention Ernesto. He's one of our first alumni, and he went back into academia and is now a professor at Tec de Monterrey. So also for students that are interested in pursuing an academic career, this technology management part might be a very interesting option. So this gives you a bit of an idea of what our students do and which paths they choose after graduation. Now, our MBA program with the international faculty and the small classes and our very interesting network of alumni obviously comes at a price. In our case, it's a tuition for the master degree with 90 credit points of 24,000 euros. That includes the tuition for all of our courses here at the NIT. If you want to combine that with an MSc at TUHH, that's included as well. There's our intensive foreign language classes, which are included, our individual consulting here, the semester ticket for public transport, and a variety of social and networking events that we provide here. If you want to go for the bigger option, the 120 credit points with the extra seminars and workshops, for example, in design thinking, obviously the amount and the tuition will rise respectively, and then we'd be talking about 30,000 euros. So the option that students that are going for the double degree would be choosing would be the 24,000 euro option. And if you want to go for the 120 credit points, then you'd be looking at 30,000 for the whole program. I've mentioned a couple of financing options already. Obviously, the DAAD provides fantastic programs for the cost of living. We've just heard about that. The NIT provides a range of student loans that we can offer here with our local partner, the local savings bank, the Sparkasse, where the NIT is actually vouching for the student loan. We have industrial scholarships. I've mentioned them, for example, from Procter & Gamble, NXP, TESA, Lufthansa Technik, a couple of other companies where the sponsor companies are actually providing the tuition for our students. The application for these industrial scholarships is sort of included in the application for our regular program. So as soon as we are looking for, as we're calling for applications, you can look on our website what sort of programs are available and what would be a good fit for me, and then apply with that. Our students also have an extremely good track record with other programs in Germany here, for example, Klaus und Simon Stiftung, which offers a very attractive cost of living scholarship as well. So we'll point you when you apply towards these programs, also something which might help towards the cost of living and so on and so forth. And obviously now you're asking yourself, how do I become part of this? How do I apply for this program? The first thing you need to know is that now is the perfect time to inform yourself about the program, because quite literally 60 minutes ago, the current batch has started their program with their program introduction. And in September and October of 2019, the class that you would be interested in would be starting. And we open our application window in December of this year, and it will close in February, end of February 2019. So the application period is, in my opinion, now perfect for all of you, because you've got enough time now to prepare all your documents and send them in. The documents that we will need for the application are obviously your study certificates and the transcript of records from your bachelor's degree. For our technology management program, you will need to hold a bachelor's degree either in engineering, a technology-related field, science-related field, or a management-related field. You will need to be within the top tier of your class to be considered for admission. We also obviously want you to include a CV to your application. If you already have professional experience, for example, in engineering or in management, we obviously want to know about that. If you went to school and university in Canada or the US, you will not need a proof of English proficiency. Your enrollment certificate will be enough. But we definitely want a statement of purpose from you. So a motivational letter where you describe why you want to become a part of our community, why you want to join the technology management program, and what sort of ideas you have for your career after that. And we would also like you to provide 2 letters of recommendation, preferably from academic supervisors from the bachelor's. You can find a form for that on our website. But this for you just as an orientation, what sort of documents do I need to prepare for to apply? And our admission requirements, I've mentioned it, a bachelor's in science, engineering, or technology-related field or management-related field, let's say top 30% of the class, the top tier of your class, and obviously a high motivation to join our program and study here at the NIT. And if you have all of that together, we are looking forward to receiving your applications. If you have, in the meantime, questions about how to apply or our program in general, you can always contact me and my colleagues from the admissions team, preferably via email, admissions@nithh.de. And you can also use our contact form on our website, nithh.de. But we'll be more than happy to help you. And if you have any further questions now, I'm more than happy as well to help you with that.
Great, thank you for this wonderful overview of the NIT and the programs that are available. We don't have that much time left, but I would like to give attendees the opportunity to ask questions right now while we have you on the line. So if you do have a question at the moment, please feel free to type that in. And otherwise, thank you very much for your presentation. And also, you see here, admissions@nithh.de is Dr. Scheuner's email address and of his team, so you can always get in touch with them. And as I said earlier in the webinar, this webinar is recorded, and I will also upload the presentation with the contact information and with additional information on admissions requirements on our webinar website, and I will send a follow-up link to that by tomorrow. It'll take a little bit to upload all the documents, so it'll be by tomorrow. If I don't see any more questions, we are a little bit past the time already, and I do have another webinar coming up. So if there are no questions, I just wanted to give you, Dr. Scheuner, another opportunity to maybe say a few words that were not in the presentation. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we close this webinar, something maybe that wasn't included in the presentation?
Well, first of all, I really want to thank you for having us here and giving us the opportunity to present our program and organizing all of this. Thanks a lot for that. And I think the best way for all of you to know more about this, just contact me if you have any more questions, because then we can always discuss this by Skype or by email or whatever means are easiest. And I'm really looking forward to your questions and also to your applications, obviously.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, in Germany, it's already the end of your workday, so thank you for joining us this late, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. To attendees listening, thank you for joining us today, and again, feel free to get in touch with us should you have any questions. And with that, I'd like to thank you, and goodbye, and hope to see you soon in Germany. Goodbye.
Goodbye, auf Wiedersehen.